Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. You know, Molly and TJ have been just pissing people off left and right. Okay? And today, TJ decided to tell Molly to hold my beer. I got this one. Because this man pretty much kind of goes full Karen in a lot of ways. Let's just be clear. I do understand that from his point of view, Christina is trying to take the baby. Right? He wants to do everything he can to make sure that him and his wife, I don't give a damn about that domestic partnership, his wife, they can be parents. Right? So he is lashing out. He is being erratic. He's not being logical. And Alexis, Cynthia saying that she wants to stay out of it left and right, but you're not doing that now, are you? Keep going to one side and you're talking to Molly, you go to Christina, you talk to her, but yet you want to sit there and say, I want to keep out of it. Well, it's kind of too late at this point to even sit there and tell him, I want to sit there and stay out of it. I don't want to sit there and get involved because you're already involved. You've been involved regardless if you want to be involved or not. It is what it is. But TJ is pretty much telling her to pick a side. You got to pick a side. You got to sit there and talk to her. You got to do this. You got to do that. Alexa's like, I can't do that because no matter what side I pick, I'm wrong. If I try to, in a sense, manipulate Christina, it's going to be bad. He's like, I can't do that. I can't sit there and betray Molly for Christina. I can't betray Christina for Molly. And any person with eyes can sit there and see that. But you know what this spineless dick actually says? You're a coward. Okay? This is what TJ called Molly's mother, by the way. You're a coward. Bro, you gotta be probably one of the biggest cucks I've seen on a soap opera. At the time, your lying, cheating girlfriend pretty much screwed you over and you forgave her in under 24 hours. And you have the audacity to sit there and call somebody a coward. Wow. I'm surprised Alexis wants to sit there and still talk to him after that. And she kept doing it. She kept sitting there trying to talk, trying to be peacemaker. At that point, I'm like, yo, you know what? Listen, I'm done. Because clearly you're not getting my position. You're not understanding where I'm coming from. And she kept going and going and going until Christina finally got there. Now, Jocelyn handled that situation like a boss. I have my issues with her from time to time. But that lifeguard in training definitely kicked in. She was in there telling Gio how to do all that. She stayed calm, cool, and collected. She was almost like Cool Hand Luke. Okay, so I give her props. And while that's going on, Trina saw Ava close the window. Right? She looked at her like, and she saw her just close the window. And at that point, she was like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, you kind of sus." And that's what she does want to tell Gio later on. Now I don't know what she wound up telling Dante and Chase because it just kind of just cut off at that point. But she was talking to Gio. Well, first of all, she gave him props for just not freaking out, panicking, or whatever. And then she's like, you know what? She's always been good to me. Despite what everyone says, I want to sit there and try to believe that she's more than her mistakes. But after seeing her today, yeah, maybe I don't know her as well as I think I do. Maybe a lot of people are actually right, including Jocelyn. But speaking of Ava, okay, just as a whole, why did he feel the need to sit there and why did he feel the need to sit there and re-show her falling out the window about 6 or 7 times? Between what everyone saw, what Brooklyn kept replaying in her head for some odd reason, why was that necessary? Now, when they did re-show it, because they re-showed it from Ava's point too, a couple of times. Ava did. Okay, now this is what I don't understand. Why would she push her? Like, don't get me wrong, I don't think that she didn't push her to push her out the window. But I don't understand why she even pushed her at all. It would have made much more sense that they're talking and Christina tries to like walk away and Ava grabs her and then she pulls back and on the momentum trips over the bag and falls out of that cheap ass hotel. That would have made a lot more sense than her simply pushing her like that. Why did she even do that? Now, I know people could sit there and be like, well, Ava pushed her. It's all Ava's fault. Well, Christina, what was you doing there in the first place? So I saw the previews. He's like, yo, listen, anything that happens to that baby, that's her fault. You know what? As cruel as that sounds, he's not wrong. She didn't need to be there in general. Her going over there just sit there and say, I'm not going to testify. But you could have just did a phone call. You didn't have to do that. Don't your feet hurt? Swollen feet or something like that from what I heard from pregnant women. Quote me if I'm wrong. But why are you having that much gusto and that much energy? You should be resting, decide to go to Ava to confront her. Now, after she realized just how royally screwed that she can be, she decides to make the situation worse by removing the bag, putting ice and a shoe there. So when after Dante talks to Christina and everybody there, goes upstairs and starts questioning Ava. Now he goes up there and Ava starts asking questions, and Dante's like, no, that's not how this works. I ask you the questions. You don't ask me the questions. Now, you probably should have sent Chase there because this can just look as a conflict of interest. You know, even somebody like Scotty could potentially, throw that whole thing out the window. Poor choice of words. He could, he can, I don't know, get dismissed or whatever. But anyway, he gets there. He starts asking her questions. She's all like, "Oh, she lunged at me. She tried to push me and she missed and she fell over and she tripped over the shoe and the ice and everything or something and she just fell out the window. She was crazy. She had that crazy look in her eyes, just like her daddy." Dante's like, that doesn't really make a lot of sense. Nothing what you just said makes any sense. Sound like you lying. Yeah, it sounds like you lying. Yeah, I'm just gonna place these cuffs on you now, pretty much. Like, he was just really aggressive, really angry. And the thing is, when he opened the door, well, she opened the door, he looked at her. You know what he saw? This is the second time one of my siblings got hurt because of you. So the fact that he actually kept it together as long as he did, that's pretty impressive. Anyway, I don't understand why she started answering questions. She called Scotty. She should have just waited until Scotty got there because she started tripping out with the curtains and she was like, I don't know, the curtains was there, the curtain wasn't there, it's all blurred. And Dante's like, nah, see, that would have made more sense because he was talking downstairs to Chase, like, when she would have grabbed the curtains or something like that instead of just. And that's what he says to her. He's like, yeah, well, you don't remember, you do remember, what is it? Because it really just sounds like you lying. And he arrests her. Like, you should have just simply shut up. But you didn't. Now Lois just meant to ask some questions like, hey, listen, is it clean money or is it dirty money? Sounds like it's clean money. Okay, cool, I want to sit there and see the taxes. Sonia does not seem like he's in a good mood right now. If he says it's clean, you've known him for years, maybe you should sit there and take him at his word. Because let's be honest, your daughter working with Sonny in general can't be good for business. As I said yesterday, enemies, just his name on it, it's not good for business. So, you want to sit there and start doing all this digging down the third, Sonny could just sit there and just put a whole stop on this whole thing. And all Blazes and Brooklyn's dream could just go right out the window. simply because you didn't sit there and take him at his word. He was like, hey, listen, I can't do this right now. I'll give you to my account. No, I don't want to be shoved up to anyone else. Lois, you're doing too much. You're becoming a headache at this point now. But she drops it. She lets it go. Eventually, Gio gets on the phone, and for some odd reason, he takes a long time to sit there and tell Sonny, by the way, your daughter got hurt. Like, yeah, I'm at work, and there was an accident, and can you just get to the point, Gio? Because that would actually be nice. Maybe you just get to the point. Anyway, he gets down there. Jocelyn's there. Alexa's like, what happened? What's going on? She's really angry and, well, she's really like panicky, concerned. But there's one point where it's like she starts raising her voice to Jocelyn. It's like, what the hell happened? I was like, boo, you're toning a little bit too high. Okay, you up here, you need to bring that down here. Okay, you need to bring that down there real fast. Because honestly, to tell you the truth, Jocelyn could have sat there and been petty Betty. With their history, she could have sat there and looked at Christina and been like, I could do something, but remember that time we were at that party and you were like really mean and nasty to me? Been giving me this, that bad, that vibe, that bad vibe. I should just let you drown. She does thank her later on and does calm down, but like when she had that certain tone, I was like, boo, if you don't sit there and calm your ass down. Jocelyn may not be my favorite person, but she did her damn thing today. And I'm glad that both of them did sit there and show their respect to her. TJ wanted to go in the operating room. He was like, I can help. I was like, no. You know damn well that you shouldn't be anywhere near there. So they're going to have to sit there and call Molly on Monday. And, yeah. Brooklyn is not there talking to Lois. I don't understand why they need to sit there and show more flashbacks from Brooklyn about what happened to Christina. I don't understand why they need to sit there and retell, get her updated on everything that wound up happening with Christina in the fall. We just saw it today. They just talked about it today. If this happened Monday and they had to sit there and retell somebody the same story, okay, fine, it's annoying, but okay. But that was not needed. This was the definition of we got to run down the clock somehow. Then they get into a conversation with Sonny, and Brooklyn just being like, "Can you just respect my boundaries? Like, if there's a problem, there's something fishy that's going on, let me ask. Okay, I'm doing the damn thing. Okay, I don't like. I get that you're coming from a good place, but let me sit there and talk." Now Blaze was there. She didn't really do too much of anything. She just sat there and cried the entire time until she went to the hospital. Natalia was there. There's a point where Sonny asks what happened, and Jocelyn's about to say something. Natalia decides to speak for her. Now, she does credit her and everything like that, but it's like, Natalia, you do realize that Jocelyn does have her jaw is just fine. She can speak for herself. Why did you feel the need to sit there and kind of jump in? I understand that she wants to sit there and try to help. She wants to try to do something. She was like, can I get coffee? Can I get this? Can I keep that? I was like, maybe you should just kind of just play the quiet game. Maybe you should do that. Just a thought. I sat there, I was like, why are you talking for her? Her mouth worked perfectly fine before. Now they taking Christina to emergency surgery. They're gonna do a emergency C-section or whatever, because things aren't good right now. Things are not good. They're pretty bad. Jocelyn was there talking to Christina on the ride there. I just want to not leave that out for some odd reason. Just in case somebody was like, well, you forgot that part. Well, I just mentioned it now. I think that's about it. We double check. Alright, I think that's about it. I can't think of anything else, but if I forget anything, either write it down in the comment section below. I'll come to the live stream tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We'll sit there and talk about all the shows. General Hospital, Days of Our Lives, Born and Beautiful, Young and Restless. And I will see you in the next video. Oh yeah, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. That's the time the live stream starts tonight. So if I forget anything, you can also come there. We'll talk about it there.